Have you ever pondered over the crucial role of the design of experiments in our scientific and engineering fields? In this grand tapestry of knowledge and discovery, the design of experiments, or DOE, serves as the backbone, the guiding principle that directs the course of scientific research and engineering projects. It's a tool, a strategy, a method that scientists and engineers employ to explore, to discover, and to innovate. Now you might be wondering, what exactly is the design of experiments? In simple terms, DOE is a systematic, rigorous approach to investigating a system, process, or phenomenon. It's a structured, organized way of conducting experiments. But it's not just about carrying out experiments, it's about doing them in a way that maximizes efficiency, minimizes error, and delivers the most reliable, the most robust results. The design of experiments is instrumental in enhancing the quality of the results we obtain. It provides a roadmap, a blueprint that guides us on what experiments to conduct, how to conduct them, and how to interpret the results. It's a systematic way to navigate the complex, intricate labyrinth of scientific research and engineering projects. But the influence of DOE extends beyond just enhancing result quality. It also plays a pivotal role in reducing resource wastage. In an era where resources are increasingly scarce and precious, the importance of this cannot be overstated. By enabling us to design efficient, effective experiments, DOE helps us make the most of our resources, ensuring that each experiment brings us one step closer to the truth, one step closer to discovery, one step closer to innovation. So you see, the design of experiments is not just a tool or a method, it's a philosophy, a mindset, a way of thinking that permeates every aspect of scientific research and engineering projects. It's the language of discovery, the grammar of innovation, the alphabet of progress. So let's delve deeper into the fascinating history of the design of experiments. The roots of the design of experiments stretch back to centuries ago. The concept of conducting experiments in a systematic, controlled manner to draw valid conclusions is not a new one. In fact, it's a practice that has been in use since the dawn of civilization, with evidence of early experiments dating back to ancient Egypt. However, the formal development of the design of experiments as a scientific discipline didn't begin until the 20th century. Enter Sir Ronald Aylmer Fisher, a British statistician and geneticist, often considered the father of modern experimental design. Born in the late 19th century, Fisher began his academic career studying mathematics at Cambridge. His work spanned across multiple disciplines, including biology, genetics, and statistics. But it was his revolutionary work in the field of experimental design that truly set him apart. Fisher's groundbreaking book, The Design of Experiments, published in 1935, introduced the world to the concepts of randomization, replication, and local control. In this seminal work, Fisher explained the importance of randomization in removing bias and ensuring the validity of experimental results. His concept of replication emphasized the need for repeating experiments to validate findings, and local control introduced the idea of blocking grouping similar experimental units together to reduce variability. Among Fisher's many contributions to the field, perhaps the most significant was his introduction of the randomized block design. This design allowed for greater control over experimental variability, leading to more reliable results. Fisher's work on the randomized block design laid the groundwork for the development of other important experimental designs, including factorial designs. Factorial designs, another key milestone in the history of experimental design, allow for the simultaneous testing of multiple factors in an experiment. Introduced by Fisher in the 1920s and 30s, factorial designs revolutionized the way experiments were conducted. These designs not only saved time and resources, but also allowed for the investigation of interactions between factors, something not possible with earlier designs. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the design of experiments is now a fundamental part of scientific and engineering research. It's used across a wide range of fields, from agriculture and medicine to engineering and economics. The principles established by Fisher and others have stood the test of time, guiding researchers in their quest for knowledge and discovery. So, as we delve deeper into the world of experimental design, remember its rich history. Remember the pioneers like Fisher, who laid the groundwork for this discipline, who taught us the importance of systematic planning, careful design, and meticulous execution in conducting experiments. Remember the milestones that have shaped the field, from the introduction of randomized block designs to the advent of factorial designs. From these humble beginnings, the design of experiments evolved into a fundamental part of scientific and engineering research. It's a testament to the power of systematic inquiry, the pursuit of knowledge, and the human spirit's unending quest for understanding. The design of experiments operates on a set of core principles. Let's dive right into these guiding principles, shall we? First up, we have the principle of randomization. Now, randomization is the heart and soul of experimental design. It's like a magic wand that helps us mitigate the impact of lurking variables. Those pesky variables that aren't part of our study but can still influence our results. By randomly assigning subjects to different treatment groups, we effectively create a level playing field. This way, any differences we observe can be attributed to the treatments themselves, not some hidden variable we overlooked. Randomization, folks, is our safety net in the world of experimental design. Next, we have replication. If randomization is the heart of experimental design, replication is its backbone. Replication is about repeating the experiment under identical conditions. And why do we do this? For the sake of reliability, of course. Replication helps us assess the consistency of our results. If we get the same results over and over again, we can confidently say that our experiment is reliable. But if our results are all over the place, we know something's up. Replication is our litmus test for reliability. Then there's blocking. Blocking might not be as glamorous as randomization or replication, but it's every bit as important. Blocking allows us to control the variance in our experiment by grouping together similar subjects. This way we can isolate the effects of the treatments from the effects of the blocking variables. Think of blocking as the unsung hero of experimental design. It works behind the scenes to ensure we're comparing apples to apples, not apples to oranges. But wait, there's more. We also have the principles of factor levels and factor combinations. Factor levels refer to the different values or conditions that a factor can take on. For instance, if we're studying the effect of temperature on plant growth, our factor levels might be room temperature, slightly above room temperature, and slightly below room temperature. Factor combinations, on the other hand, refer to the different ways we can combine our factor levels. If we have 2 factors, each with 3 levels, we have a total of 9 possible factor combinations. These principles allow us to explore the effects of our factors and their interactions in a systematic, comprehensive way. And lastly, we have the principle of independence. Independence is all about ensuring that the outcome of one experiment doesn't influence the outcome of another. It's about making sure that our experiments are, well, independent. This principle is crucial for the validity of our statistical analyses. If our experiments aren't independent, our analyses could be skewed, leading to misleading or downright incorrect results. So there you have it, the guiding principles of the design of experiments: randomization, replication, blocking, factor levels, factor combinations, and independence. Each principle serves a unique and vital role, working in harmony to ensure that our experiments are robust, reliable, and above all, meaningful. These principles guide the design of experiments, ensuring robustness and reliability. But how does the design of experiments translate into real-world applications? Let's start with the pharmaceutical industry, an arena where precision, accuracy, and reliability are of utmost importance. Here, the design of experiments is used in drug formulation, process optimization, and quality control. For instance, imagine a company is developing a new drug. They would need to determine the optimal combination of ingredients to achieve the desired therapeutic effect while minimizing side effects. By applying the principles of the design of experiments, they can systematically vary the proportions of each ingredient and measure the outcomes, thereby identifying the most effective formulation. The design of experiments also plays a pivotal role in agriculture. Farmers and agricultural scientists use it to improve crop yields and develop more sustainable farming practices. Consider a farmer wanting to maximize the yield of a particular crop. They could design an experiment to test various factors such as levels of irrigation, types of fertilizer, and planting density. By analyzing the results, they can identify the optimal combination of these factors that leads to the highest yield. Now let's turn our gaze towards the manufacturing sector. Here, the design of experiments is used to optimize processes and improve product quality. Take, for instance, a car manufacturing plant. They could use the design of experiments to test different production methods, materials, and machine settings to determine the optimal process that minimizes waste, reduces production time, and improves the quality of the final product. And it doesn't stop there. In the realm of software testing, the design of experiments is a powerful tool for identifying and fixing bugs. Developers can design experiments to test different combinations of inputs and system configurations to identify the conditions that lead to failures. By doing so, they can find and fix bugs more efficiently, leading to more reliable software. In all these examples, the design of experiments helps in making informed decisions. Instead of relying on guesswork or intuition, scientists and engineers can use the design of experiments to systematically test different scenarios and measure their outcomes. This allows them to identify the best course of action based on empirical evidence. Furthermore, the design of experiments is not just about optimizing processes or improving product quality, it's also about learning and discovery. By designing and conducting experiments, we can gain new insights into the world around us. We can discover new relationships, identify cause and effect mechanisms, and uncover hidden patterns. In this way, the design of experiments is a powerful tool for innovation. And let's not forget about its role in education. The design of experiments is a fundamental concept in various fields of study, from statistics and engineering to psychology and biology. By learning about the design of experiments, students can develop a rigorous and systematic approach to problem solving. They can learn how to design experiments to test hypotheses, collect and analyze data, and draw valid conclusions. This not only equips them with valuable skills for their future careers, but also fosters a culture of curiosity and critical thinking. In conclusion, the design of experiments is more than just a set of principles or techniques. It's a way of thinking. It's about asking the right questions, designing the right experiments to answer those questions, and making the right decisions based on the results. Whether it's in pharmaceuticals, agriculture, manufacturing, software testing, or education, the design of experiments is a powerful tool that can help us navigate the complexities of the real world. Indeed, the design of experiments is indispensable in our quest for knowledge and innovation. So, what have we learned about the design of experiments? We've journeyed through the intriguing landscape of experiment design, tracing its historical footprints, understanding its guiding principles, and exploring its real-world applications. From this journey, we've gleaned that the design of experiments is not just a dry scientific methodology, but an art that shapes our perception of reality and our interaction with the world. We embarked on this journey by stepping into the past, understanding that the design of experiments is not a modern concept. It dates back to the scientific revolution, where early pioneers like Sir Ronald Fisher laid the groundwork. They've given us a robust framework to test hypotheses, control variables, and interpret results, guiding us away from misleading correlations and towards causative relationships. As we navigated the guiding principles, we discovered that experiment design is a strategic endeavor. It's not about haphazardly throwing things together and hoping for the best. Instead, it requires careful planning, a clear understanding of the variables at play, and a systematic approach to testing and analyzing. It's about creating an environment where every factor is accounted for and every result serves a purpose. When we ventured into real-world applications, we found that the design of experiments is not confined to sterile laboratories or academic circles. It's a tool that engineers use to optimize processes, that businesses use to maximize profits, that healthcare professionals use to improve patient outcomes. It's a tool that helps us make sense of the world, allowing us to turn raw data into actionable insights. So, as we conclude this journey, let's not forget the importance of the design of experiments in our scientific and engineering endeavors. It's a method that allows us to control the chaos of the natural world, to distill complexity into simplicity, and to transform uncertainty into understanding. The design of experiments continues to shape our world, pushing the boundaries of what is possible, and that in essence is the power of well-designed experiments.